Greetings folks, Dan here, and welcome back to another edition of Kaiju Showcase. Today, in keeping with the trend, or the cool thing to do, and being on the bandwagon with a few other reviewers, no offense meant by being on a bandwagon, we're going to be taking a look at the Ultra Great Kaiju Gerukadon. This is actually the Dreamworks figure. It was released in 92-ish, I think. I mean, it's Dreamworks toys. I don't have a lot of information on it, but it should be around that time. It's going to be similar to the Bogan I explained earlier, except that this one is actually quite a bit larger than the Bogan. But let's just talk about the toy. This was done by Dreamworks, not Bondi. It was released here. It was released in Australia, the United States, and in Japan. Same with the Bogan. It was boxed here, and I imagine in Australia, and it was it was tagged in Japan. So if it was boxed in Japan, I don't know. It could have been with a tag, but I don't know. But these come with stickers in the box, but I think the tag would have been way cooler. But that's just me. So we'll take a quick gander at the figure here, as long as it doesn't fall over. This one doesn't want to stand up for me for some reason. Mine's a little scratched and banged up. I got it for $3. It was a really good deal, but you know, you get a little few rubs here and there, but it's fine. For $3, I'm not going to complain. The arms move, not 360. Though these arms move, not those arms. They move 360, or not 360. I'm sorry, because of the frill in the back. And the legs move, the tail moves, and the head moves. The head will not move 360. The tail is really kind of stiff. The whole toy is made out of really hard vinyl, which I like. Parents back then probably didn't, because it probably gave kids concussions, I'm sure. But it's a nice toy. I mean, it's fairly well detailed. I'll give it a little bit of a turn now. There we go. I mean, it's a very well detailed toy. For accuracy to the show, though, I would say for folks that are interested in that, it's not bad. Bogan was better, but it's not bad. It is big, though. It is a pretty tall toy. Again, I don't usually do size comparisons. People know this, but I'll do one to just kind of give an example of how big it is. So we're going to kind of move Gerukadon over there. There we go. And here's the Bogan. So as you can tell, he's really big, very much bigger than Bogan. And then, just as a benchmark, I have an old 91 Hydra that's tagless, and I measured him, and he's roughly about 6 inches. So in fairness, this will be the 6-inch benchmark. So he's a little bit bigger than Bogan, but of course Gerukadon is huge. Gerukadon is probably at the top of his frill 9 and 9.5. I doubt 10, but 9.5. He's a pretty big toy, very sizable. And they were originally $10 when they first came out. So I mean, for $10 for a toy that big, you really can't complain about it. But aw, sad face. He fell over on me. He does that from time to time, but that's part of his charm. But no, it's a nice toy, big. I like it, but again, for accuracy, I like Bogan a little bit better. Well, a little bit more information for you. This again was released in about 92-ish, 91, 92-ish. Then there was also a Bondi version of Gerukadon that was, 6-ish inches as part of the Ultra Monsters line. It was released in the 94 to 96 line. It was actually June of 1995 it was released. And that was the only release of that, and that's one Goji73 reviewed. So I'll just provide a link, and you can pop over to John's video and check that out. But for one of these, if you can get it for relatively cheap, and we'll discover pricing, of course, later, I'd recommend it. He's really cool, and I can go into a little more about how he works in the television show. But we'll just jump right into that. So here's a little bit of information about the history of Gerukadon. He first appeared in the 3rd episode of Ultraman Great, or Ultraman Towards the Future, whichever name you want to go by. I'd go by Great because that's the Japanese, but that's just me. Which aired in 1992. It was the episode of Child's Dream. Just kind of go into a little bit. Not a lot of people. Not everybody in the world has seen Great, so I'll talk about it a little bit. some kid is really obsessed with this little pet lizard. They go to this dig thing for their school or something like that. Pet lizard accidentally gets killed, but he gets this rock, and it's, you know, the Gudis virus thing, and it takes him over, and he drew a picture of a Gerukadon, which was supposed to be the fossil they found, and it makes a Gerukadon appear. Bad stuff happens. Funny thing is him in his standing form, you only see in like one scene where he's destroying a building and breathing fire, because all kaiju breathe fire apparently. They all must be related to dragons in some sense. But then it reverts to this weird kind of flying form, which is kind of cool. But you know, and then you can imagine what happens. But I'm not going to talk about it a lot. It's kind of interesting. It reminds me of some other kaiju, and then it seems like there's references to older Ultraman series in his origin and such. But it's not bad. It was an okay episode. In Gerukadon, well, I would prefer more of a hands-on like brawl. That didn't quite happen, but it was still good fun. So now, of course, we're going to talk about the pricing and availability, and a lot of this is going to be very similar to Bogan, so I'll try to kind of breeze through it because I got some info in the end as well. You can find these on eBay for really cheap. I bought mine for $3. Starting bid was $3. I was just like, fuck it, $3. 6 days later, 7 days, I want it. So there's not a huge demand for it, but I got a feeling these reviews are probably going to drive up demand a little bit. If you can get it for cheap, do it. You can find boxed ones. It's going to be around $5-10 for it not boxed. 15-20 if you want it with the box. Again, I don't like the boxes because they're big, and I got enough, you know, storage issue spaces as is. I don't have a lot of space to store my shit, so I'm not going to leave it in a box. That's excluded for just more certain specific figures. You know, if you can get it, do it. It's a nice toy. It's big. It's well detailed. And how often are you going to come across the 9-inch toy that's about a really cool kaiju? Or at least a really interestingly designed one, that's going to cost you like $5 or $10 or $3. Fuck, you could probably get one for 99 cents if you found a deal cheap enough and nobody jumped on it. That could happen. Like I said, this one's got a little bit of rub, little damage. I don't care. It was $3. I enjoy it. I can get a better specimen later on if I really, really want it. But 100% recommended. Very cool figure. And little note for those that didn't see it, one of my friends, Ultraman Chronos, brought this to my attention. Go on Hulu. They actually have the entire Ultraman Great series, and you can watch it there, so that's kind of nice. So that'll help you learn about a few of these kaiju. I haven't done that. I've only done it for some of the episodes, but do that, and it's a great little series that I think I feel is kind of underrated. We're going to do something similar to we did with the Bogan review. I'm sure you guys are getting sick about it. Like, dude, stop mentioning the Bogan review. We totally get it. Like, no. Again, this is going to be similar to the Bogan review. Norman Yiend, that designed the bottom half of Bogan, actually designed this kaiju. So it's really kind of interesting, like, design the whole thing. So that's really cool. I actually met him and spoke to him. He's like, yeah, dude, I totally designed Gerukadon. I was like, no fucking way. And he's like, yeah, dude, I totally did it. And I was like, yes, that is badass. Like, how often do you meet somebody? And, you know, I've been in communicate with the guy. Really, really nice guy. I'd love to meet the dude. He's very friendly. I consider him an acquaintance. Even though it's just over Facebook, like, I'd still like to consider the guy an acquaintance. He's a really nice guy. But he actually designed it, and I'll be flashing some pictures like we did the last time. His original design was based more on the frilled lizard in Australia. They went by the code name for it, Rare Monster. I think would have been really cool, but members of the production team, I guess, disagreed. They said it looked too much like the lizard, and they wanted to make it more, you know, like differentiated it a bit more. Be like, oh, it needs to be more, you know, standout-ish, which I understand, but it still looked really cool. Another interesting thing I think about him is how the frill here, you know, it looks really kind of weird. When I first looked at Gerukadon, I was like, fuck that. You know, I mean, I probably won't get him. He's kind of weird, you know. And those weird kaiju really grow on me, like Mururoa did. From Ultraman Tara, which is an awesome kaiju. You can't find the fucking thing anywhere because it was only like a poppy and maybe a bull mark, but it was just a really hard toy to find. But anyway, getting off topic. The frill was actually, it was originally designed from what Norman said to move more like a jellyfish. You know how jellyfish, the top of the plume on the top actually kind of like folds and moves. And that was actually how it's supposed to move, and you can kind of see that a little bit. At least I did, and that might not have been the intention when I was watching the show. But he said for the original design, the more frilled lizard design, that's actually how it's supposed to move. And I think that's really kind of neat that he told me that. And you know, it's not something you see every day. It's kind of an interesting choice. And the whole design is interesting, but it really works. And to speak with the creator and him kind of like give you his, you know, some of his insight and his, you know, what he thought of is really kind of cool. I'd really like to almost have like a talk with the man, like, and just put it on YouTube. Like, I'm gonna talk to this dude about Ultraman Great and like fucking put it on YouTube just to hear like war stories. That's what I want to hear. I think a lot of people would love to hear that. So, but anyway, again, I'm rambling. So it's kind of neat, the origins of the monster. It changed a little bit. I don't know. I like this design. The frilled lizard would have been cool, but I can totally understand. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, you go in the store, oh, I'm going to buy this toy. It says Ultraman. Well, that just looks like a damn lizard toy. It doesn't look much like a monster. So I can understand the point of wanting to be more standoutish. But that is going to be it for this review, I think. We had a good time. Talked about monsters. And I've been waiting for a while to open this bag of chips, so you people, you'll be happy. So we're gonna give Gerukadon here a chip. Yeah, that's right. That's good stuff. Yeah, alright. Well, we'll see you guys later, and we'll catch you next time.